Hello everybody, my name's JustinPSports. Welcome to the second episode of our Seattle SuperSonics MyNBA. Today, we look to get the season into gear, coming off a loss in a big way to the Phoenix Suns last time out. 147-124 was that final. Last time out was a tough one offensively. One thing I did want to make a change to after looking across the league was quite simple. Hire more coaches. Yes, hire more coaches. Simple, right? Well, every single coaching staff had at minimum 14 different members. We were the lowest total in the league for the season opener. We started to pick up some wins right after that change, including a 1-point win against the Golden State Warriors. Then, as the season continued to simmer on, the injuries started to build up. Brent Barry twisted his right knee, taking away our backup shooting guard presence. We still won despite that, though, a bit. A lot of close victories, 106-105 to Dallas. That led us into an 8-5 start on the season and actually had us tied with the Lakers, Spurs, and Trailblazers in the standings. Speaking of the Spurs, they're our matchup of focus today. Tim Duncan, so far, averaging 25 and 14 on the season. Points per game and rebounds per game, respectively. Tony Parker's on the rise in his second season from France. While also, they've got very little weaknesses. Dunks is their second worst weakness. Seattle, meanwhile, they're amongst the top 10 in scoring. Same for San Antonio. Flip the script, though, the defensive. Seattle's the second worst defense, while San Antonio is the 5th best this season on points allowed. Let's see how this battle of 8-5 teams goes. Not so much traffic today on the interstates, but plenty of intense action expected at the SBC Center. NBA Saturday Hoops on 2K Sports here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's tilt. It's the Seattle SuperSonics taking on the hometown San Antonio Spurs here from Texas. Your starting lineup feature Payton and Mason, with Lewis and Radmanovich and James at the 5 for Seattle, while San Antonio has Parker, Smith, Bowen, Duncan, and Robinson for its respective group. Two of the top scoring teams in the NBA so far on the docket. San Antonio looking to see if they can try and use their top 5 defense as the upper hand, though. We're underway from San Antonio. The SuperSonics win the tip. Gary Payton sets things up at the point. Mason sets up the play, wide open for 3, hits the back of the rim. Mason struggled this season from beyond the arc, shooting 14% entering tonight's ballgame from beyond the arc. Parker looking for Tim Duncan. He battles low post with Radmanovich. Down to 7 on the shot clock. Duncan battles, looks, right hand, misses. Rebound by Mason. Seattle coming into tonight 6-4 in their past 10 games. They've been stronger on the road so far, though. They look for James. Has a mismatch. Hook shot, too strong. Rebounded by Steve Smith. The Spurs this season, they've been solid on their home floor. The brand new SBC Center so far seen a 4-3 start to its home schedule for the Spurs. Trying to find space back to Duncan again. 5 on the shot clock. Once again, over Radmanovich, this time just short, but rebound goes in. David Robinson on the putback. And this 13-year veteran puts in the first bucket of the ball game. 2-0 Spurs. Almost 90 seconds into the first quarter of play. Here on 2K Sports, JustinPSports with you from San Antonio, Texas. SuperSonics Spurs on docket. Mason looking to go on point. Radmanovich resets. Back up top, Gary Payton way downtown for 3. Way off. Sped up by Smith. Steve Smith, last year's NBA Citizenship Award winner for sportsmanship across the NBA. He gets a couple screens from Robinson, takes the three, misses the three. James on the board again. Just past the 2-minute mark as Payton looking for a lot of separation from Tony Parker. Out to Lewis, layup in, and Seattle's on the board. And Seattle's top shooting player continuing a solid start to their campaign, 50% this season. Rashard Lewis for the field. Duncan good in response. Tim Duncan has 2 points so far tonight for San Antonio. 1 for 3 for the field. Lewis, Radmanovic. Trying to get a screen. Radmanovic, also a good perimeter shooter. He uses that shot. Doesn't fall. Again, Robinson the board. Tony Parker leading the offense for San Antonio. Last year, a first-team all-rookie for the San Antonio Spurs. Outside, Smith, 3, rails away. Rebound, Bruce Bowen puts it up. And the 2-time second-team all-defender with the putback. And it's a 6-2 run for San Antonio. Payton. Out to Radmanovic. A lot of space in the paint. They go to Mason instead. Contested. Again missing. James put back. Rejected by Robinson. Here comes Parker up the floor. Bowen from the baseline. Forced to reset. Back out to TP. Swing around back to Bowen. Spurs under Greg Popovich, known for being methodical and patient. They go to Duncan for the fadeaway. This time a little bit strong off the backboard in the rim. Mason gives the cut to Lewis for the bucket. Rashard Lewis has all 4 of Seattle's points so far. 4 minutes into the first quarter of play, 6-4 your score here on 2K Sports. Smith, back to Duncan. Moving, fading, shooting, good. Under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. It's remained tight throughout much of the frame. Spurs up by 5. Wake Rose off to Tony Parker. Rose and Parker back and forth. Parker jump shot falls. Tony Parker more of a slasher, but he can make those jump shots. He makes that one there. Anderson back out to Lewis. Reggie Evans working for the corner. Looking to give it back to Lewis in the low post. The battle, the pump. Does he pass it? Yes. Back to reset to Anderson for the jumper. Waddles away. Rebound by Kevin Willis. Kick down the floor. Manu Ginobili down low. It's Rose open. And the one-time champion puts up the layup. 4 straight points now for the Spurs. Anthony sets up in the bottom corner. Evans on the top side. Right now searching is Lewis, again low post. Under a minute to go in the first quarter of play. This time Lewis keeps it, hooks it, misses it. Rebound picked up by Johnny Newman. Newman runs point, keeps it slow. Back to Tony Parker. Parker through a lot of traffic, gets it through by Drobniak. And the speedy slasher puts up the bucket. And the Spurs are up by double digits for the first time tonight. Chance for a 2-for-1 special. 18-second difference. Shot clock and game clock, and it's turnover. Newman takes it away. Parker for 3. Misses. Ginobili, second chance. Regroups it back to Newman. Shot clock is off for the remainder of the first quarter. Parker back to Willis. Newman. 10 seconds to get a shot off. Ginobili matched up with Anderson. Rose on the cut. Ginobili on the drive. Now to Rose. And he draws the blocking foul off Drobniak. And with 2.6 seconds to go, that brings up one of the playoff heroes for the Spurs last year, Malik Rose. In a comeback attempt last season, he was able to put up a 28-point, 13-rebound effort against Seattle. Seattle ended up winning that game in double digits, but they had been up as much as 28 before Rose woke up during last year's postseason. And in the first quarter here, 27-14 the score. The Spurs up in San Antonio. You're watching 2K Sports for coverage of NBA Saturday Hoops here on 2K Sports. So far, so good when it comes to the Spurs. 27-14 your score here on 2K Sports. Justin Prince with you as we start off the second quarter of play. On the floor for the Spurs, Ginobili and Duncan, followed by Steve Kerr and Speedy Claxton. Running the 5 is Rose. Ginobili to Duncan. Lots of traffic, still makes it. The big fundamental makes it work on an awkward shot. San Antonio leads by 15. Anthony runs the point for Seattle. He's matched up with Anderson, Lewis, Drobniak, and Reggie Evans. And yet again, a same play from earlier leads to the same result. Intercepted. Claxton has a lot of switches on him. Staying man-to-man are the SuperSonics. 8 on the shot clock. Duncan yet again down low. This time with Evans. This time the hook. This time the rollaway. 1 minute into the second, the Spurs, with the first bucket moments ago of the frame, up by 15. Screens for Reggie Evans. Lewis has a size mismatch of the low post. Drives by Ginobili, draws contact to the line to shoot 2. Rashard Lewis. Rashard Lewis so far has been fairly productive for Seattle. Their second leading scorer at 18.6 points per game. First is good. And they've been needing him much of the way so far, not just in terms of scoring, but also defensively, as one of their top rebounders as well, with several of their centers struggling to get boards. Second free throw dropping. Spurs still up by 13. Claxton looks ahead, gets the screen from Rose. Second screen from Rose opens Claxton for the pick and roll. Rose goes fade over Anthony. Too short. Duncan, second chance, easy. And Tim Duncan, he's an animal on the low block. He keeps it up there. Anderson, one of Seattle's acquisitions last season from Boston from a trade. He looks to cut, draws the whistle. Steve Kerr on the personal. His first personal. And Anderson to shoot 2. Kenny Anderson having a quiet season. 9 points per game, 3 assists off the bench to start the year. He makes the first 2. Anderson has seen himself in a couple different significant opportunities. New Jersey in the postseason comes to mind as he makes the second free throw. Keeps the game to a 13-point difference on the score sheet. 2 minutes into the second. The jumper, Ginobili, splash. Back and forth scoring here in this part of the frame. Has wide open paint. Gives it out to Lewis for the jump shot. Rolls away. Second chance, poked loose. Third chance, Lewis regroups and goes out of the key. Anthony resets the play. Anderson on the roundabout. Running out of time with the play clock. Drobniak battles in low post. Now Lewis moves to the spot. High screen. Anthony keeps it. Lewis takes it for 3 up. The pick and pop good. And the three-pointer drops and continues what's been a good outside shooting season for Lewis. 50% from beyond the arc. He reduced the gap to 12. About 3 minutes into this second quarter. Duncan still unstoppable. Down low, stuffs it in Drobniak's face. That's been the type of night it's been for Tim Duncan so far. Near improbable, but near unstoppable. 35-21. Evans getting the high screen with Lewis. Evans elects to now give it to Lewis. On the matchup difference, draws the whistle to the line once again. 3 minutes to go. 10-point advantage for San Antonio. Anderson tries to drive it, misses. Pass back out. Payton fades with the left hook. Rebounded by Duncan. Bowen works it to Parker. Swung back around to Bowen. Robinson now matched up with James in the low block. Smith down to Duncan. Duncan tries to shove forward, tries to spin, now goes for the fade. Mason forcing the miss. Good defensive play from Mason despite the size mismatch. Now he matches over Duncan, jumper, cut it, and the foul.
First personal foul.
Desmond Mason on the end one, and Seattle's now in the bonus. Great shot by Mason. He completes the end one, and all of a sudden, what was once a 15-point deficit is cut in about half. 7 points now the lead for the Spurs. Now it's Bowen. As Rose in the low post, worked up to Smith instead. Robinson having to shove, try to pull through James, face, no matter. James had the hand to the face, doesn't matter. 45-36. Lewis trying to shove loose. Matched up with Bowen to Payton. The cut, the whistle, and the glove to shoot two. How's Gary Payton so far? Well, near double-double on the season is a good start. 22-8 when it comes to the averages. However, he's been struggling from the field. While much of his season has seen him do well inside the arc, he's been shooting below 40% from beyond the arc and about 67% of the stripe. This time he makes them. But right now, whenever he's not been on the floor, we've seen Seattle struggle a lot. Parker, three, rattles away. Coming up to the final 90 seconds of the quarter. Duncan off the floor with the personal moment to go. That sees Tony Parker and David Robinson try and switch back and forth down low. Radmanovic guarded by Rose. Lewis now swung back to Radmanovic, trying to figure out who wants the ball. Anybody want the ball? Parker couldn't get the defensive rebound. Instead, it's James who gets the putback. The SuperSonics are now within 5 with about a minute to work in this first half of play. Parker, alley-oop to Robinson. And the General with the bucket. Payton looks for the setup and response. Swung back to Radmanovic from the low side. Radmanovic takes the three, misses the three. And the Spurs with a chance for a 2-for-1 of their own if they keep it slow. Bowen to Parker. They have some mismatches on the floor. Mason matched up with Parker. Now switching on to his Radmanovic with the zone. Parker misses. Radmanovic on the rebound. 2 to 3 second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Down low on the pick and roll. James over Parker, good. Big Snacks with another bucket down low. And the shot clock is off for the remainder of the first half. Parker scans, gets the screen by Rose. Tries to drive around Payton, out to Rose to end the half, no good. However, the Spurs still lead despite the Seattle comeback. They close the gap by 10, the Spurs still lead by 5 after 24 minutes here on 2K Sports. We'll be back in a bit. Welcome back to San Antonio, where so far tonight, it's been Tim Duncan who's been part of the storyline. 22 points on 11 of 17 shooting. He's been outright dominant. There's a reason that last year he picked up the final ever IBM award, which measured the best formulatic impact of a player for their team. Duncan, bucket, good. You know, the funny thing about those award winners all the way back to 1984. The first winner, Magic Johnson. Many of those winners so far have gone on to become Hall of Famers. Radmanovic misses, picked up by Bowen. Spurs lead by 7. Their whole starting 5 on the floor. Parker, Robinson, Bowen. Along with Smith round at the 5 is Duncan. Swing around to Parker, open 3. Back rim, second chance, again Duncan. Tim Duncan with 26 points on the night for the Spurs. Seattle looking for a quick response, and they need one badly. We've seen a similar burst early in the first quarter that's seen the Spurs go up double digits for much of the frame. They throw it away again. The third time they've called that play, the third time they've had it stolen. Parker, guarded by Payton. Pick and roll with Duncan. No, they go with the fade in the double screen, in fact. Duncan now tries to fade. Gives it out to Bowen. 4 on the shot clock. Down to 3. Contested. Parker 3. Rebound by Radmanovic. Mason. Trying to de-maze his way through the traffic. Alley-oop to Mason. Well, that's a way to de-maze your way through said traffic. Just a thought assist from Payton. And that quiets the Spurs crowd. Parker continuing to keep things slow. An interesting player from France. Rebound picked up by Seattle. Parker elected to stay in France to begin his basketball career instead of going to the NCAA. Now he watches and calls for the ball after the Spurs steal. Parker stays outside. Bowen keeps it, drives it to the baseline. Now the low post. Down to 9 of the shot clock. Parker has a mismatch. Has an open space on the screen for 3. Tony Parker on the bucket. The Spurs up by 10. Mason to Lewis. Goes on the drive and draws another whistle. 2 more free throws for Rashard Lewis. Second is good. And the Spurs hot streak, the past couple minutes, continues. 21 points now the advantage. Evans to Anderson. Screen with Drobniak. Going hard shot, still makes it. And a nice jumper despite all the traffic. But it's been a very solid third quarter. The Seattle bench struggling yet again compared to the Spurs bench. Claxton, hook shot, good. Should I say the floater on that one? Claxton able to go clickety-clack to the bucket. About 40 seconds to work within the third quarter. Evans, work to Lewis. Takes the shot over to Ginobili, and good. Manu Ginobili, an interesting case study, you could argue, of EuroLeague superstar to NBA hopeful. Parker on the bucket. Manu Ginobili, a second rounder back in 1999, elected to stay overseas, where he became a 3-time All-Star in Italy and won the 2001 EuroLeague championship and last season's Italian League MVP. He's matched up with Lewis for what may be one of the final shots to corner. Nearly steals it, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Ginobili. 7 on the shot clock. Now Lewis. Given to Anthony. He needs a screen. Instead, he says, I'm going to take the shot. Rolls away. Second chance. Too late. San Antonio leads after 3. 81-60. Your score from San Antonio, Texas. You're watching 2K Sports. Welcome to the fourth quarter of play. I'm Justin Prince. Once again, we're happy to have you with us. The Spurs have controlled the second half so far, up by 21. Can the Spurs put on the Jets like they did to end the second quarter? Well, there's your answer. Not really yet. Offensive foul. Spurs basketball. That's been the way it's been since the start of the third quarter for Seattle. Parker over Drobniak. He only gets the end one. He'll go to the line to shoot for 2.
Third personal foul. First team foul.
So Tony Parker so far tonight at 14 points on 33% shooting. On the season, he's been averaging more than 51%, nearly doubling all his stats so far from his rookie year. First one able to drop. The second, swish. Anthony. So far has been a solid pickup from training camp for Seattle. Unplanned addition, needing guard depth, but has so far been able to carry well in a pinch. Lewis tries to shoot for a pitch, gets blocked. Claxton, 18 on the shot clock, tries to loop it around Anderson. Duncan, Claxton, Ginobili. Wide open paint. Evans, the one watching defensively. Doesn't matter, Ginobili takes the jumper but misses it. San Antonio up by 23 here on 2K Sports as Anderson will go to the line to shoot two. Under 90 seconds to go, Seattle has just been treading water on the score sheet. Down by 24, make it 22. They have not made an indent into the Seattle deficit all day. It started off with a strong comeback in the second against Seattle within 5 points. Since then, the Spurs have been in control. They quickly went up double digits in the mid-third, have not looked back since. Locked down low by James. Shot taken by Willis. And a lot of rumors are starting to pop up on when does Seattle shake things up. It's been the type of season where the talk has been, are they pretenders or are they contenders? That was one of the speeches from Nate McMillan before tonight's ball game. Well, tonight, the speech going to take a different tone after one of those answers may have came through with a struggle offensively. For the shot clock for Payton. Step back, pass to Lewis, contested. Again, misses. Spurs will need to take one final shot, and then it should just about be it. Screen by Rose. Ginobili electing to keep it on the back and forth. Takes the shot, and that one just rims away. Now they can just drain it from here. The San Antonio Spurs came in tonight one of 4 teams tied at 8-5 on records. The Lakers, the Trailblazers, the SuperSonics and them. Not anymore. San Antonio is your winners here tonight on NBA Saturday Night Hoops. 104-82 is your final. For everyone at 2K Sports, I'm JustinPSports saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching NBA from San Antonio. Hey guys, we just received the grade. We got an F. 104-82 the final. Tim Duncan put up a 44-piece on the Sonics tonight. SuperSonics, led by Rashard Lewis, had 25 points for him, but it didn't matter. The third quarter destroyed any chance of a good result tonight. And that was a huge question. Entering the game, how will we do? And better yet, how will we do without one of our better perimeter shooters in Brent Berry? We got a lot of answers in the CPU game, if you noticed, to see how the team itself is meshing together. A lot of injuries are starting to pile up as well as we make our way to December 8th in the sim. We're at 500. Barely in the playoff race in the early going after 20 games, 10-10 behind the 10-8 Trailblazers. The Spurs took that win and ran away to go to the top of the West. A lot of questions to be answered and a lot of questions to potentially have to ask for the next time out. I'm JustinPSports saying so long. We'll see you next time for episode 3.